Hello and welcome back to In the Can. Right now we're going to talk about a movie, and we were just chatting about the photo for the movie. The movie's called Sister Aimee, and if you see it in the program, it has the most wonderful picture that I think pretty much tells the story about the movie, at least the tone of it. And we have both director-writers, Sam Buck and Marie Schlingmann, and then two of the folks that are in the movie, Margaret Hollyman and Andrea Suarez. How'd I do?
Great.
Awesome. We're off to a really good start. So tell us a little bit about the movie that fits the picture that you have in the guide.
Yes, it's a movie about a very famous evangelist in the 1920s who's larger than life in her personality and in her, sermons/shows. And in the beginning of the movie, she is fed up with all of that and decides to leave her life and goes on a very wild and unpredictable road trip towards Mexico with her married lover and
Married to someone else lover.
Married to somebody else.
Married.
And a woman named Ray that they meet on the road who steers the narrative in a very unexpected
I love
direction.
this line in describing the movie. It says, based on true events, mostly made up.
Yes.
That is terrific.
Yeah.
So how did you decide what to add? What did you add?
Well, I mean, this is Aimee. Sister Aimee was based on a real woman, Sister Aimee Semple McPherson. So there was this event that happened to her, and she was super famous in the 1920s. She used radio, was one of the evangelists to use radio for the first time to reach a nationwide audience, had an enormous temple in Los Angeles, and had these amazing shows. Like Charlie Chaplin would go, Betty Davis called her like the greatest live performer she ever saw. But in 1926, she went for a swim with her personal assistant, and the personal assistant came out and said she's gone, she's missing, and for 5 weeks nobody knew where she was, and it was all over the papers, and there were all of these stories, and a little bit of her narrative was kind of being torn apart in the press. And 5 weeks later, she was found walking from Mexico into Arizona with a very crazy biblical tale of what happened to her. And she never swayed from that story, and nobody really knows what happened. So that gave Marie and I an opportunity to
do the mostly made up part.
To do the mostly made up part, and use it to explore things that we wanted to. About,
so her journey is all our imagination.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What was it like participating in this film, being in the movie?
I mean, it was an absolute dream.
Yeah.
It's obviously, she as famous of a figure she was, not many people know about her, and there's so much to unpack from her life, and Sam and Marie had an amazing way of taking this fictionalized account and packing in so many amazing ideas and fun things, and it really, as a performer, was a dream, because it goes from being essentially, I describe it as like a screwball comedy that turns into a Western that ends up in being a musical, and it all works.
I love it. How about you, Andrea?
Well, that's a great description for the film. I'm always trying to find a way to describe it because it's just so unique. I really have never read a script that even comes close to its complexity in the sense of styles. The styles change without the film, and the tones go all over the place. And when I read it, I was very, very sad, because I thought, if I don't get this part, I am going to be devastated. And I was like, no. So it was great. It was just the role is so striking, and I just I was able to just go all out on it, and I had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's good when it's fun, right?
Super fun.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's a movie that touches a whole lot of different genres, so it never gets old. You don't have to stay, well, I suppose you have to stay in character.
She did.
I did. I still am in character. So I'm going to start singing and dancing in a second.
Yeah, you're going to disappear for 5 weeks into Arizona.
Yeah, I got to go.
Yeah, things to do. Yeah. So when you found out that this movie had been selected for Sundance, what was that like?
I mean,
It's
it's like a it's a dream. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we could be super cool about it. Like, yeah, we're like,
No need to do that
awesome,
here.
that's No, we were, you know, in bed listening to political podcasts and trying, you know, so we really weren't cool because it was like 9 p.m. you know, at our house. We're like,
midnight.
and you get the call and you realize there's just all of these opportunities that are going to be able to happen for this film and for everybody involved with it. And we had like, these ladies are the most incredible actors. We had just a wonderful cast, the best crew. It was such a good time making this movie that you get the call and you realize, wow, we're going to get a stage for this film.
And for a lot of people's work, you know. And so right now we're just very happy that there's a lot of people from the crew and the cast here, and that everyone's kind of going to be able to show off their work.
Yeah, for sure. The platform of Sundance, I don't think it gets any better for an indie film.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to most with audience reaction? Are you expecting a specific audience reaction, or it's?
I personally feel like if the movies, you know, people who go to the Sundance Film Festival watch maybe like 20, 25 movies, so or even more. If they take something from the movie and it kind of lingers, a character, a scene, some visual, that would make me happy. I feel like then we've kind of done our job. And beyond that, I do think it's certainly a fun movie that goes a little bit darker and, you know, has some more serious themes in there. Yeah. But, you know, take from it what you want as long as you take something.
Yeah. Sam, how about you?
I mean, ditto. In terms of like audience response, that if somebody like a week later is like, oh, there's this one moment in your film that I remember, then I'm like, oh, well, I just don't want it to be, you know, in that middle ground. Either really hate it or really love it, but have some sort of
remember that you saw it.
Remember that you saw it and have some reaction to something.
In your 25 films, just remember this one.
Although I say that, but please don't really hate it.
I like that. I like that a lot. What about so Sister Aimee? She's multifaceted, obviously, multifaceted. Very interesting, kind of wild at heart, obviously, but with a focus. Is there a message that you wanted to send with her?
I think for us it was more the complexity of that female character and female historical character, and to sort of see the strengths and the weaknesses and be okay with that, you know, and that for us was more than, I think, a straight message.
Yeah.
Did you want to
Like who?
convey a message?
What's the question? Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny, right? I mean, this takes place in 1926, but it does feel very timely.
Yeah.
In terms of, and Sam and Marie talked a lot about this, but like taking these, you know, she was one of the most powerful women in America, and actually globally. She was the first media star. She harnessed the radio. She harnessed the newsreel during World War I. She was during the Great Depression, actually provided more welfare services than the city of Los Angeles could provide. She was the first person to push for an integrated church. She was super progressive in a lot of ways. We've never heard of her, and you know, a ton of people live in Los Angeles, and they're here. And they pass by her now former temple every day, and they're on. It's on Echo Park Lake, and they have no idea. And here she was. I think there's something about a powerhouse like that. There's just endless amounts of information and possibilities and complexity. She was a mother. She was married twice. There's so much there, and to have it silenced in a lot of ways, to have them kind of revitalize her, like you said, it's a version of who she is. Yeah. I think all people are, and historical versions of, you know, in film, we can talk about that, but it's cool to present this narrative and be like, this is still happening
Yeah.
Yeah.
to a lot
I
of women
mean,
in power.
I would say that kind of, we talked about that a lot. And by the way, the reason we found out about her is because we made a short film with Margaret Hollyman, and she said, you should look up this woman, you would love her.
nice.
So like, this is very, you know.
And then
Awesome.
she, and then we
did
wrote
it.
it and said, like, surprise,
you're gonna
you
do
are
it.
Sister Amy.
Oh, that's awesome.
But just in terms of like what we were dealing with thematically in the film, it's like very relevant today. We're talking
Yeah.
female identity, usurping of narratives, the power of storytelling and
Yeah.
entertainment and spectacle, which all feels super relevant. So we really, even though it's set in 1926, when a period piece works, we always feel like it's saying something about today and right now. And so we hope that it does
Yeah.
do that.
Well, thank you for bringing her back to life and putting her on film. And it's got several showings. You guys have several showings here, 4 or 5, right? Six. Even better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations and thanks
you.
for bringing the story and the descriptions of the film. Can't wait to see it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be right back.